The stars had been quiet for so long that Captain Jiwoo almost missed the signal. He was drinking his morning coffee in the command center of the Hegemony warship when the scanner made a soft beep. On the screen, a small blue dot appeared. "What is that?" he asked his officer. "A planet, sir. Third one from its star. It has water and air." Jiwoo put down his coffee and walked closer to the screen. In all his years serving the Galactic Hegemony, he had seen many worlds. Most were empty rocks. Some had simple life forms. Very few had thinking beings. "Are there people living there?" he asked. The officer checked his readings. "Yes, sir. They have cities and machines, but their technology is very basic. They just learned how to travel between stars." Jiwoo smiled. This was perfect. Admiral Kwan Ho would be very pleased. The Hegemony was always looking for new worlds to add to their empire, especially worlds with people who could work for them. "Send a message to the Admiral," Jiwoo said. "Tell him we found a new world. Tell him the people there are weak." 3 days later, Admiral Kwan Ho arrived with 50 warships. Each ship was bigger than a mountain. Their weapons could destroy entire cities with one shot. Kwan Ho had conquered hundreds of worlds for the Hegemony. This would be easy. "What do we know about them?" Kwan Ho asked Jiwoo. "They call themselves humans, sir. They live on a planet called Earth. They have many small countries that fight each other. Their biggest weapons use simple explosions. They cannot travel faster than light yet." Kwan Ho laughed. "Explosions? How primitive. Do they know we are here?" "Not yet, sir. Should we contact them?" "Yes. Send them the standard message. They have 3 days to surrender or we destroy their world." The message went out to every radio and television on Earth. People everywhere stopped what they were doing to listen. The voice was cold and mechanical. "People of Earth, you are now part of the Galactic Hegemony. Your world belongs to us. You will work for us. You will give us everything we ask for. You have 72 hours to surrender. If you do not surrender, we will kill everyone on your planet. This is your only warning." In the city of Seoul, President Lee Tae-min called an emergency meeting. Leaders from every country came on video calls. Everyone looked scared. "Is this real?" asked Premier Park Soo-jin from Beijing. "Are there really alien ships above our planet?" "Our satellites confirm it," said Lee Tae-min. 50 ships. Each one is 20 kilometers long. We have never seen technology like this." "What do they want?" asked the Prime Minister of Australia. "Everything," said Lee Tae-min. "They want us to be their slaves." In his office, General Kim Min-ho looked at the pictures of the alien ships. He had been a soldier for 30 years. He had fought in many wars, but he had never seen anything like this. "Sir," said his assistant, "what should we do?" Kim Min-ho was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Call Dr. Choi Hee-jin. Tell her it is time." Dr. Choi worked in a secret laboratory deep underground. For 20 years, she had been preparing for this day. She knew that someday Earth would meet aliens. She hoped they would be friendly, but she planned for the worst. "General Kim," she said when he called, "I saw the news. Are you ready to activate the program?" "Do we have a choice?" Kim asked. "No," said Dr. Choi. "We have 3 days. That is enough time." Dr. Choi walked through her laboratory. Hundreds of scientists worked at computers and machines. They had been building weapons that no one knew about, weapons designed to fight enemies from space. "Attention, everyone," Dr. Choi announced. "Today is the day we have been preparing for. Begin the activation sequence." The scientists began typing commands into their computers. Around the solar system, hidden machines started to wake up. They had been sleeping in asteroids and on small moons for years. Now they were getting ready for war. Meanwhile, on Earth, most countries were getting ready to surrender. Their leaders met in video calls and argued about what to do. "We cannot fight them," said the president of Brazil. "Their ships are too big. Their weapons are too strong." "Maybe they will be kind masters," said the Prime Minister of India. "Maybe they will let us live in peace." But some leaders disagreed. General Kim spoke to the group. "I have been a soldier all my life," he said. "I know what happens when strong people control weak people. These aliens will not be kind. They will use us until we die. Then they will find more people to use." "What choice do we have?" asked Premier Park Soo-jin. "We fight," said Kim. "We show them that humans are not easy to control. On the alien flagship, Admiral Quan Ho was drinking wine from his home planet. He was reading reports about Earth. The humans had many different languages. They fought wars over small pieces of land. They had religions that made them fight each other. They are so divided, he told Captain Jiwoo. This will be easier than I thought. Their leaders will surrender to save themselves. What if they do not surrender? Jiwoo asked. Then we destroy one of their cities, Quan Ho said. After that, they will beg us to accept their surrender. But Quan Ho did not know about Dr. Choi and her team. He did not know about the weapons hidden around the solar system. He did not know that humans had been watching the stars and planning for this day. In her underground laboratory, Dr. Choi looked at a large screen. It showed the alien ships floating above Earth. They looked so powerful. But she knew something the aliens did. Not no, Namkite, she called to her chief engineer. Are the quantum disruptors ready? Yes, Dr. Choi. All stations report ready. Good. And the adaptive systems? Ready as well. We can analyze their technology as soon as they use it. Dr. Choi smiled. The aliens thought humans were primitive. They thought Earth would be easy to conquer. They were about to learn how wrong they were. On the second day, more alien ships arrived. Now there were 100 ships around Earth. People in the cities looked up at the sky and saw lights moving between the stars. Many people prayed. Others cried. Some tried to run away, but there was nowhere to go. The alien ultimatum was playing on every television and radio station. 1 day remaining. Surrender or die. That night, General Kim met with his top officers. Colonel Shin Jae-sung controlled the secret space weapons. Commander Oh Sang-wook was in charge of the hidden fleet. They all knew this might be their last. Meeting! Tomorrow they will attack, Kim said. They will try to scare us by destroying something important. Are you ready? Yes, sir, said Colonel Shin. The orbital platforms are charged and waiting. Our ships are ready too, said Commander Oh. They still do not know we exist. Kim looked at his officers. They were scared, but they were determined. Remember, he said, we are not just fighting for Earth. We are fighting for every human who will ever be born. We cannot let these aliens turn us into slaves. The third day came. All around the world, people waited. Some governments had already announced they would surrender. Others said they would fight. But everyone knew the aliens were much stronger. In space, Admiral Quan Ho prepared for the final ultimatum. He chose his target carefully. He would destroy the human moon base. It was big enough to be impressive, but small enough that most humans would survive. After seeing their moon base disappear, the humans would surrender quickly. He did not know that Colonel Shin was waiting for him. He did not know that Earth's real defenses were about to activate. He thought this would be just another easy conquest. Admiral Quan Ho was about to learn that humans were different from every other species. He had conquered. He was about to learn that some people would rather die fighting than live as slaves. The war was about to begin. Deep underground, in a place that did not exist on any map, Dr. Choi Hye-jin walked through halls that most people would never see. The Xenodefense Initiative had been her life's work. For 20 years, she had prepared for this moment. She stopped at a large metal door. Her handprint opened the lock. Inside was a room full of screens and computers. Her team was working frantically to make final preparations. Yoon Da-un, she called to her strategic analyst. What is the alien fleet doing? They are moving into attack position above Luna Base, Yoon said. Their big ship is charging some kind of weapon. Dr. Choi nodded. Luna Base was Earth's largest settlement off the planet. 5,000 people lived and worked there. The aliens were going to destroy it to scare Earth into surrendering. They always do this, she said. Destroy something important, show their power, make people afraid. Will our defenses work? Asked Nam Ki-tae, her weapons engineer. He looked nervous. We will find out soon, Dr. Choi said. Remember, we have advantages they do not know about. They think we are primitive. They will not expect advanced weapons. The Xenodefense Initiative had started in 2157 after scientists detected strange signals from deep space. Most people thought the signals were natural, but Dr. Choi believed they came from alien civilizations. She convinced the government to let her build a secret program. For 20 years, her team studied the signals. They learned about alien technology without ever seeing it. They discovered that most advanced civilizations used something called exotic matter to power their ships and weapons. This exotic matter was very powerful, but it had a weakness. "The quantum disruptors are ready," reported Nam Kitai. "All hidden. Platforms are online." The quantum disruptors were Dr. Choi's greatest invention. They could make exotic matter unstable. When exotic matter became unstable, it destroyed itself and everything around it. The bigger the alien ship, the bigger the explosion would be. But the disruptors were not the only secret weapon. Dr. Choi's team had also built adaptive AI systems. These systems could watch alien technology and learn how it worked. Then they could copy it and make it better. "Majin," Dr. Choi called to another scientist. "Are the adaptive systems ready?" "Yes, Doctor. As soon as the aliens use their weapons, we will learn how they work. Then we can build better weapons." Dr. Choi had also worked with the military to build a secret fleet. Most people knew about Earth's official space navy, but they did not know about the ships hidden in asteroid fields and behind moons. These ships used new technology that the aliens would not expect. In space, Admiral Quan Ho was getting impatient. The 72 hours were almost over. It was time to show these humans what happened when they did not surrender to the hegemony. "Target their moon base," he told Captain Jiwoo. "Use the planet cracker. Make sure every human can see the explosion." "Yes, sir," Jiwoo said. He typed commands into his console. The massive alien ship began to glow with energy. The planet cracker was the hegemony's most feared weapon. It could split a world in half. On Luna Base, Commander Park Young-soo watched the alien ship prepare to fire. He was not afraid. He had volunteered for this assignment. He knew what was about to happen. "All personnel to the emergency shelters," he announced. "This is not a drill." The 5,000 people on Luna Base ran to protected areas deep underground. They did not know that help was coming. They did not know about the weapons hidden all around them. High above the moon, Colonel Shin Jae-sung waited in his secret control room. He could see the alien ship charging its weapon. Soon it would fire. That was when he would strike back. "Quantum disruptor network," he said into his radio. "Prepare to fire on my command." Around the moon, hidden weapons that looked like small asteroids began to power up. They had been waiting for this moment for years. The aliens would never see them coming. The alien planet cracker finished charging. It pointed directly at Luna Base. Admiral Quan Ho smiled. After this demonstration, the humans would surrender immediately. "Fire," he commanded. The planet cracker beam shot toward Luna Base. It was a river of pure energy that could melt rock and metal, but it never reached its target. "Fire all disruptors," Colonel Shin commanded. Invisible beams shot out from the hidden weapons. They hit the alien ship from all directions. The beams did not damage the ship's armor. Instead, they did something much worse. The exotic matter that powered the alien ship began to become unstable. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then small explosions appeared inside the ship. The explosions grew bigger and bigger. "What is happening?" Admiral Quan Ho shouted. Alarms were ringing throughout his ship. His officers were yelling about system failures. "Sir, the exotic matter core is destabilizing," Captain Jiwoo reported. "We need to abandon ship immediately." But it was too late. The exotic matter core collapsed completely. The entire ship, 20 kilometers long, folded in on itself and disappeared. The explosion was so bright that people on Earth could see it during the day. The other alien ships stopped moving. They could not believe what they had seen. Their most powerful warship had just vanished. The primitive humans had destroyed it somehow. In the underground command center, Dr. Choi watched the screens with satisfaction. "Phase 1 complete," she announced. "Begin Phase 2. All around the solar system, hidden human ships began to appear. They had been hiding behind asteroids and inside gas clouds. Now they moved toward the confused alien fleet. Admiral Ryu Sung-min commanded the secret human fleet from his ship hidden behind Mars. He had been waiting for this moment for 5 years. "All ships," he said into his radio. "Attack pattern Alpha. Remember, we want to capture their ships if possible. We need to study their technology." The human ships moved fast. They used new engines that the aliens had never seen. Instead of exotic matter, they used quantum tunneling drives. These drives were harder to detect and almost impossible to stop. The first alien ship to be attacked was a cruiser. It was trying to retreat when 3 human ships surrounded it. The human ships fired weapons that the aliens did not recognize. "What are those weapons?" asked Captain Lee Taeho, the alien ship's commander. "I do not know, sir," his officer replied. "They seem to be disrupting our computer systems." The human weapons were EMP bursts, designed specifically to stop alien electronics. Dr. Choi's team had studied the alien signals for years. They knew exactly how alien computers worked. The alien cruiser's engines stopped working. Its weapons powered down. Its life support systems began to fail. The ship was helpless. "Surrender and prepare to be boarded," Admiral Ryu announced. "Your ship will not be harmed if you cooperate." On Earth, people watched the space battle on television. They could not believe what they were seeing. The aliens, who had seemed so powerful, were being defeated by human ships that most people had never heard of. General Kim Min-ho stood in the command center and smiled. "Dr. Choi," he said, "your plan is working perfectly." "This is just the beginning," Dr. Choi replied. "Wait until they send more ships, then we will really surprise them." In space, more alien ships were being captured or destroyed. The humans seemed to know exactly where to hit them. Every alien weapon was met with a perfect counterattack. Every alien ship was surrounded before it could escape. Captain Han So-young was the first human to board a captured alien ship. She led a team of soldiers onto the alien cruiser. The aliens inside had surrendered, but they looked confused and frightened. "Secure all alien personnel," she ordered her team. "Be careful. We do not know what diseases they might carry." The aliens were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. They wore uniforms that seemed to be made of metal. They spoke in clicking sounds that the human computers could not translate yet. "Take them to the medical bay," Han said. "Treat them well. They are prisoners, not enemies." Han walked through the alien ship. Everything was strange and beautiful. The walls glowed with soft light. The computer screens showed symbols she had never seen. But her team's adaptive AI was already learning how everything worked. "Commander Han," one of her soldiers called. "You need to see this." Han followed the soldier to a large room filled with computers. On the screens were maps of the galaxy. Thousands of star systems were marked in red. "I think these are all the worlds they control," the soldier said. Han looked at the maps. The galactic hegemony was much larger than anyone on Earth had imagined. They controlled most of the galaxy. Earth was just a tiny dot on the edge of their empire. "Send this information to Dr. Choi immediately," Han ordered. "She needs to know what we are really fighting against." Back in space, the battle was almost over. Of the 100 alien ships that had come to conquer Earth, 30 had been destroyed and 40 had been captured. The rest were trying to escape. Admiral Kwan Ho's flagship was one of the ships trying to run away. He could not understand what had happened. His mighty fleet had been defeated by primitives who had barely learned to travel between stars. "Send a message to Hegemony Command," he told his communications officer. "Tell them we need reinforcements. Tell them these humans are not what they appear to be." "What should I tell them about our losses?" the officer asked. Kwan Ho looked at his battle reports. Most of his fleet was gone. The humans had weapons that should not exist. They had ships that moved faster than anything in the hegemony fleet. "Tell them," Kwan Ho said slowly, "that the news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy faster than the hegemony could stop it. On 1,000 worlds, slaves looked up at the stars and wondered if freedom was possible. For the first time in 10,000 years, someone had defeated the galactic hegemony." On the planet Zentara, a mining colony at the edge of hegemony space, the workers stopped their digging when they heard the news. Koral, a slave who had worked in the mines for 20 years, could not believe what his friend told him. "Humans destroyed a hegemony fleet?" Koral asked. "That is impossible. No one can fight the hegemony." The message came through the quantum network, his friend said. "A whole fleet destroyed. Ships captured. The admiral barely escaped." Koral looked around the dark mine. He had been born here. His parents had died here. He had always thought he would die here too. But maybe there was hope. In the hegemony capital, Emperor Dae-jin sat on his throne made of crystal from 1,000 dead worlds. He had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. Never in all that time had anyone dared to fight back. "Show me the battle reports again," he commanded. His advisor, General Moon Hyuk-jae, activated a holographic display. It showed the space around Earth and the destruction of the hegemony fleet. "How is this possible?" Emperor Dae-jin asked. "These humans just learned to travel between stars. They should have weapons made of metal and fire." "They have quantum disruptors, my lord," General Moon said carefully. "They have adaptive AI systems. They have ships that move using quantum tunneling." Emperor Dae-jin stood up from his throne. He was tall and thin, with skin that glowed silver. His people had given up their original bodies long ago, becoming something between machine and living being. "Send the first armada," he commanded. 2,000 ships, the best commanders, the strongest weapons. I want this human world turned to dust. "Yes, my lord," General Moon said. "War Marshal Jun Hyun-woo has volunteered to lead the attack." War Marshal Jun was the hegemony's greatest military leader. He had conquered more worlds than any other commander. He had never lost a battle. "Good," Emperor Dae-jin said. "Tell Jun that failure is not acceptable. These humans must be destroyed, as an example to the rest of the galaxy." On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. They had defeated the aliens. They were safe. But in the underground command center, Dr. Choi knew the real war was just beginning. "They will send more ships," she told General Kim. "Many more ships. We surprised them once, but they will be ready next time." "How many ships can they send?" General Kim asked. Dr. Choi looked at the star maps they had captured from the alien ships. "They control 800 star systems. Each system has hundreds of ships. They could send 50,000 ships if they wanted to." General Kim was quiet for a moment. "Can we fight 50,000 ships?" "Not with the weapons we have now," Dr. Choi said. "But we have something they do not have. We can learn. We can adapt. We can change." Dr. Choi's team was already studying the captured alien ships. The adaptive AI systems were learning how hegemony technology worked. Soon, they would be able to build better weapons. "Nam Ki-tae," Dr. Choi called to her chief engineer. "How long until we can mass-produce quantum disruptors?" 3 weeks, Nam replied. "But I have a better idea. Instead of just disrupting their exotic matter, we can steal it." "Steal it?" "Yes. We can build converters that turn their exotic matter into power for our ships. The more ships they send, the stronger we become." Dr. Choi smiled. This was why humans were dangerous. They did not just fight. They learned from their enemies and became stronger. Meanwhile, Captain Han So-young was leading a team of scientists. Through the captured alien flagship, they were learning amazing things about hegemony technology. "Look at this," Dr. An Mi-kyung said. She was studying the ship's computer core. "Their AI is incredibly advanced, but it never changes. It does exactly what it was programmed to do, nothing more." "What does that mean?" Han asked. "It means they are predictable," Dr. An said. "Our AI learns and adapts. Theirs follows rules. In a long war, we will always have the advantage." They found other weaknesses, too. Hegemony ships were built to fight enemies with similar technology. They had never faced quantum weapons or adaptive systems. Their armor was useless against human weapons. "Send all this information to Dr. Choi," Han ordered. "She needs to know everything we have learned." 3 weeks later, War Marshal Jun arrived at Earth with the first armada. 2,000 ships filled the space around the planet. Each ship was massive and heavily armed. Jun was sure that no primitive species could fight such a force. "Open communications," he ordered. "I want to speak to the human leaders." On Earth, the message was received in the underground command center. Dr. Choi and General Kim listened to the alien commander's words. "People of Earth," Jun said, "I am War Marshal Jun of the Galactic Hegemony. You destroyed one of our fleets through treachery and tricks, but now you face the first armada. Surrender immediately or watch your world burn." General Kim looked at Dr. Choi. "Are we ready?" "More ready than they know," Dr. Choi replied. "Activate all defensive systems. Begin Operation Reversal." Around the solar system, new weapons came online. In the 3 weeks since the first battle, Earth's factories had been working constantly. They had built thousands of new ships. They had created weapons that could steal enemy power. They had prepared traps that no alien commander would expect. "All ships," Admiral Rao announced to the hidden human fleet. "Begin hunting formation. Remember, we are not defending anymore. We are attacking." The first alien ship to approach Earth was a destroyer. It expected to face primitive weapons. Instead, it found itself surrounded by 20 human ships that appeared from nowhere. "Impossible," the alien captain said. "They cannot have built so many ships so quickly." But humans could do things the aliens had never imagined. Earth's factories could build ships in days instead of years. Human workers could learn new technologies in hours instead of decades. The alien destroyer tried to fight, but human weapons drained its power and turned it against itself. Within minutes, the proud hegemony ship was dead in space. "Surrender and prepare to be boarded," the human commander announced. "Your crew will not be harmed." All around Earth's solar system, the same scene was happening. Alien ships found themselves facing enemies they could not understand. Human weapons grew, stronger with every shot. Human ships moved in ways that seemed impossible. War Marshal June watched his fleet being destroyed and could not believe what he was seeing. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "How can primitives fight like this?" "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "their ships are using our own exotic matter against us. Every time we fire, they become stronger." "What about their computer systems? Can we hack them?" "No, sir. Their AI systems are too different from ours. We cannot break their codes." June realized he was losing. The greatest military force in the galaxy was being defeated by humans who had learned to travel between stars only 50 years ago. "All ships retreat," he ordered. "Fall back to minimum safe distance." But the human ships followed them. They did not just defend their planet. They hunted the alien fleet like wolves hunting sheep. Admiral Ryu commanded the attack from his flagship. "Do not let them escape," he told his captains. "We need every ship they have. Their technology will help us free the galaxy." Captain Han led a boarding party onto another captured alien ship. This time, the aliens surrendered immediately. They had heard what happened to crews that fought back. "Please," the alien captain said in broken English, "do not kill us. We were only following orders." "We do not kill prisoners," Han said. "But you will help us. You will teach us about your empire. You will help us free the slaves on your worlds." The alien captain looked confused. "Free the slaves? Why would you do that?" "Because everyone deserves to be free," Han said. "Even aliens, who tried to enslave us." By the end of the day, War Marshal June had lost half his fleet. The other half was running as fast as they could toward hegemony space. June himself barely escaped in a damaged ship. "Send a message to the Emperor," he told his communications officer. "Tell him we have found something worse than we imagined." "What should I tell him, sir?" June looked at the reports of the battle. The humans had not just defeated his fleet, they had captured most of it. They had turned hegemony ships into human weapons. "Tell him," June said, "that these humans are not just primitives with lucky weapons. They are something we have never seen before. They learn. They adapt. They get stronger with every battle." On Earth, Dr. Choi stood in her command center and watched the alien ships fleeing. Around her, her team was celebrating, but she knew this was still just the beginning. "General Kim," she said, "we have won 2 battles, but now the real war starts. They know we are dangerous. Next time they will not underestimate us. What do we do?" General Kim asked. Dr. Choi looked at the star maps on her screens. Thousands of alien worlds, millions of enslaved people, an empire that had ruled for 10,000 years. "We do what humans have always done," she said. "We do not wait for our enemies to attack us. We take the fight to them." Commander Lim Tae-ho stood in the communications room of the captured hegemony flagship. Around him, human technicians worked to understand alien broadcasting systems. They had a plan that would shake the galaxy. "Are we ready?" Dr. Choi asked, as she entered the room. "Yes," Lim replied. "We have broken their quantum communication codes. We can send messages to any world in the hegemony." "Good. Begin the broadcast." Across the galaxy, on 1,000 enslaved worlds, the message appeared on every screen and communication device. It was simple but powerful. "People of the galaxy," the voice said, This is Earth. We have defeated 2 hegemony fleets. Freedom is possible. The Empire can be beaten. Rise up. Fight back. You are not alone. With the message came video of the space battles. Alien slaves watched in amazement as massive hegemony ships exploded or surrendered to small human vessels. For the first time in their lives, they saw their masters losing. On the mining world of Zentara, Koral and his fellow workers gathered around a communication terminal. They watched the videos over and over. "Look," Koral said, pointing at the screen. "That ship is bigger than our entire city, and the humans destroyed it." "Maybe we can fight too," said another worker. "Maybe we do not have to be slaves forever." Similar conversations happened on hundreds of worlds. The hegemony had ruled through fear for so long that no one had dared to resist. But now they had seen that resistance was possible. The first rebellion started on Kepler 442b, a farm world that grew food for the hegemony military. The slaves there outnumbered their masters 1,000 to 1. When they saw the human victory videos, they decided to act. Hak Su was a farming slave who had worked in the fields for 30 years. He gathered his fellow workers in secret. "We have always been afraid," he said, "but humans were afraid too, and they still fought. We can fight too." "But we have no weapons," said another slave. "We have tools," Hak Su replied. "We have machines. We have each other. That is enough." The rebellion on Kepler 442b started at dawn. Thousands of slaves stopped working and surrounded the hegemony garrison. The alien soldiers were surprised and outnumbered. Within hours, the planet was free. News of the rebellion spread quickly. On other worlds, slaves began to organize. Some rebellions failed, but others succeeded. The hegemony's perfect order was beginning to crack. On Earth, Dr. Choi watched the reports with satisfaction. "Phase 3 is working," she told General Kim. "The galaxy is waking up." But she also knew that the hegemony would respond with force. Emperor Daejin would not let his empire fall apart without a fight. In the hegemony capital, Emperor Daejin was furious. Reports of rebellions came from dozens of worlds. His governors were requesting military support to put down the uprisings. "How did this happen?" he demanded of General Moon. "The humans, my lord," Moon replied. "They are broadcasting messages throughout the galaxy. They are encouraging rebellion." "Then stop the broadcasts." "We cannot, my lord. They are using our own communication systems against us. Every time we block one signal, they find another way." Emperor Daejin walked to the window of his throne room. Outside, he could see the lights of the galaxy's largest city. For 3,000 years, he had ruled this empire without challenge. Now, primitives from a tiny world were threatening everything he had built. "Wake the Devastator fleet," he commanded. General Moon's face went pale. "My lord, the Devastators have not been used for 2,000 years. They are planet killers. Using them will destroy entire worlds." "Good," Emperor Daejin said. "Let the galaxy see what happens to those who rebel against the hegemony. Start with the human world." The Devastator fleet was a relic from the early days of the hegemony. These were not normal warships. They were weapons designed to destroy entire solar systems. Each Devastator ship was the size of a small moon and carried weapons that could crack planets in half. For 2,000 years, they had slept in hidden bases at the center of the galaxy. No one had dared to wake them because their power was too terrible to use. But Emperor Daejin was desperate. On Earth, Dr. Choi's sensors detected the movement of massive ships in deep space. The readings were unlike anything they had seen before. "What are those?" General Kim asked, looking at the data. "I do not know," Dr. Choi replied, "but they are huge. Each one is bigger than our largest city." Dr. An Mi-kyung, who had been studying, captured hegemony databases, ran into the command room. "I found references to something called the Devastator Fleet," she said. "According to these records, they are ancient weapons from when the hegemony was first built." "What do they do?" Dr. Choi asked. "They destroy worlds," Dr. An said quietly. "The records say they can break planets apart. They have never been defeated." The room was quiet for a moment. Everyone understood what this meant. The hegemony was bringing weapons that could destroy Earth completely. "How long do we have?" General Kim asked. The fleet is moving toward us now, Dr. Choi said, checking her screens. At their current speed, they will arrive in 2 weeks. Can we fight them? Dr. Choi looked at the data again. The Devastator ships were incredibly large and heavily armed, but they were also very old, technology from 2,000 years ago. Maybe, she said. Their ships are powerful, but they use old technology. Our adaptive systems might be able to find weaknesses. What do we need to do? Evacuate non-essential personnel from Earth, Dr. Choi said. If we lose this battle, at least some humans will survive on the colony worlds. And we need to call our allies. In the 2 weeks since Earth's victories, many alien species had secretly contacted the human government. They wanted to join the fight against the hegemony. Now it was time to see if they would actually help. Ambassador Lee Ji-hyun sent messages to every species that had offered assistance. The hegemony is sending their strongest weapons to destroy Earth, she said. If you want to be free, this is your chance to fight. The response was immediate. Ships from dozens of species began moving toward Earth. They were not large fleets, but they represented something important. For the first time in thousands of years, the galaxy was uniting against the hegemony. General Kwon Dong-jun was put in charge of coordinating the Allied forces. He met with alien commanders from species he had never heard of. We do not have many ships, admitted Captain Veltar of the Andorian fleet. But we want to help. We have been slaves for too long. Every ship helps, General Kwon replied. Together, we are stronger than apart. Dr. Sun Yun-ji worked frantically to share human technology with the Allied forces. Her team taught alien engineers how to build quantum disruptors and adaptive AI systems. Can your ships use these weapons? She asked, a reptilian engineer from the planet Tau Ceti. With modifications, yes, the alien replied. Your technology is very different from ours, but we can make it work. As the days passed, Earth's solar system filled with ships from across the galaxy. Humans, reptiles, energy beings, and species that looked like living crystals all worked together to prepare for the coming battle. The Devastator fleet arrived exactly when Dr. Choi had predicted. 50 ships, each one the size of a moon, appeared at the edge of the solar system. They moved slowly but steadily toward Earth. Emperor Daejin himself commanded the fleet from the largest Devastator ship. He wanted to personally oversee the destruction of the humans who had dared to challenge his empire. Open communications, he commanded. I want to speak to the human leaders. In the underground command center, Dr. Choi and General Kim listened to the Emperor's message. His voice was cold and ancient. Humans of Earth, Emperor Daejin said. You have caused much trouble in my galaxy. You have encouraged my slaves to rebel. You have destroyed my fleets. Now you will pay the price. I will turn your world into dust and scatter it across space. Your species will be remembered only as a warning to others. General Kim activated the reply system. Emperor, he said, we are not afraid of you. We have defeated your fleets before. We will defeat you again. Emperor Daejin laughed. You face normal ships with normal crews. The Devastator fleet has never been defeated. We have weapons that can destroy stars. Your primitive technology cannot save you. We will see, General Kim replied. The communication ended. Around Earth, human and allied ships prepared for the battle of their lives. The Devastator fleet began charging their planet-killing weapons. Dr. Choi looked at her screens one more time. Everything depended on the next few hours. If they lost, Earth would be destroyed and the rebellion would end. If they won, the galaxy would be free. All ships, Admiral Ryu announced to the combined fleet. Remember what we are fighting for, not just for Earth, but for every enslaved world in the galaxy. Today we end 10,000 years of tyranny. The battle was about to begin. The space around Earth looked like a painting made of stars and fire. 50 massive Devastator ships faced thousands of smaller vessels from dozens of species. Every ship in the Allied fleet could fit inside one of the Emperor's weapons. But they had something the Devastators did not have, the will to be free. On the bridge of his flagship, Emperor Daejin looked at the small ships opposing him. After 3,000 years of rule, he felt almost sad that it would end so easily. Look at them, he said to his officers. So many species united against us. If they had this courage before, they might have been worth keeping as allies instead of slaves. "Shall we begin the attack, my lord?" asked Admiral Bei Sung-ho, commander of the Devastator fleet. "Not yet," Emperor Daejin said. "Let them make the first move. I want to see what they think they can do against us." In Earth's command center, Dr. Choi watched the alien formations on her screens. The Devastator ships were moving into a perfect line, their weapons pointed at Earth. They were confident, maybe too confident. "Dr. Choi," called Lieutenant Park Min-jung from the sensor station. "I am reading energy signatures from the alien ships. They are not like anything we have seen before." "What kind of energy?" Dr. Choi asked. "It looks like they are using exotic matter, but combined with something else, something that makes it much more powerful." Dr. Choi studied the readings. The Devastator ships used technology that was thousands of years old, but they had perfected it. Their weapons could indeed destroy planets. "Can our quantum disruptors work against them?" asked Nam Ki-tae. "I do not know," Dr. Choi admitted. "Their exotic matter is stabilized differently. We might need a different approach." Admiral Ryu commanded the Allied fleet from his flagship. Around him, officers from a dozen species worked, together at control stations. Humans sat next to reptilian Dracos and crystalline quartz beings. "All ships," Ryu announced, "begin attack pattern Omega. Remember, our goal is not to destroy them. We want to capture their ships and free their crews." "Admiral," called Captain Han So-young from her ship near the front lines, "the enemy vessels are beginning to charge their main weapons." On the Emperor's flagship, the planet-killing weapon was powering up. It drew energy from the ship's massive exotic matter core, creating a beam that could split a world in half. "Target their planet," Emperor Daejin commanded. "One shot will end this rebellion forever." But as the weapon charged, something unexpected happened. Small human ships began flying directly toward the Devastator flagship, ignoring the smaller weapons firing at them. Captain Moon Ju-won led the first attack wing. Her ship was tiny compared to the alien monster, but she had a mission that could save Earth. "All ships," she said to her squadron, "remember the plan. We get close, we plant the devices, and we get out. Simple." "Define simple," said Lieutenant Kim Jae-min, flying beside her. "We are attacking a ship the size of a city." "Simple," Moon replied. "We either succeed or we die. Not much to think about." The human ships flew through a storm of alien fire. Many were destroyed, but others made it through. They landed on the hull of the Devastator flagship and deployed their secret weapons. These were not bombs or missiles. They were Dr. Choi's newest invention, quantum anchors. These devices could lock onto exotic matter and prevent it from being used. "Anchors deployed," Moon reported as her ship lifted off from the alien hull. "Let us see if Dr. Choi was right." On the bridge of the flagship, Emperor Daejin noticed the planet-killer weapon was not charging properly. "What is happening?" he demanded. "Unknown, my lord," replied his weapons officer. "The exotic matter core is being held stable. We cannot access its energy." "Impossible. Nothing can stop our exotic matter systems." But Dr. Choi's team had spent months studying captured hegemony technology. They had learned that exotic matter could be controlled in ways the aliens had never imagined. With the flagship's main weapon disabled, the other Allied ships began their attack. Ships from the liberated worlds flew alongside human vessels, their weapons now upgraded with Earth technology. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Devastator ships that had destroyed entire civilizations found themselves fighting enemies they could not understand. Every time they adapted to one threat, the Allies changed their tactics. Commander Bae In-ho led a squadron of mixed human and alien ships against a Devastator cruiser. "Target their exotic matter conduits," he ordered. "If we can cut their power, they cannot fight." "How do we get through their armor?" asked an alien pilot. "We do not go through it," Bae replied. "We go around it." The Allied ships used quantum tunneling to appear inside the Devastator's defenses. The ancient ship had armor that could stop any weapon, but the armor was on the outside. Inside, the ship was vulnerable. Lieutenant Seo Hyun-suk was flying a captured hegemony fighter when she noticed something important. "Command," she called on her radio. "I think I found something." "What is it, Lieutenant?" Admiral Ryu replied. "These old ships. They all have the same weakness. Their computer systems cannot change. They follow the same patterns every time. Explain. Watch, SEO said. She flew her ship in a specific pattern around a Devastator vessel. The alien ship's weapons tried to track her, but they always fired at where she had been, not where she was going. Their targeting systems are thousands of years old, she continued. They cannot adapt to new flying patterns. If we change our tactics fast enough, they cannot hit us. This discovery changed everything. Admiral Ryu sent the information to all Allied ships. Soon the ancient Devastator vessels found themselves surrounded by enemies they could not target properly. On his flagship, Emperor Daijin watched his perfect fleet being torn apart by primitives and rebels. Ships that had never been defeated were surrendering or being captured. "How is this possible?" he asked Admiral Bay. "Their technology is different from ours, my lord," Bay replied. "They do not follow the rules we expect." "What rules?" "We have the most advanced technology in the galaxy." "Yes, my lord, but we have had the same technology for thousands of years. They learn and change constantly. Every battle teaches them something new." Emperor Daijin finally understood what he was facing. These humans were not just primitives with lucky weapons. They were something the hegemony had never encountered, a species that evolved its technology as fast as it fought. "Send a message. To all ships," he commanded. "Full retreat. We must regroup and plan a new strategy." But Admiral Ryu was not going to let the Emperor escape. "All ships," he announced, "pursue the enemy. We end this today." The Allied fleet chased the retreating Devastators through space. One by one, the ancient ships were surrounded and captured. Their crews, many of whom had been forced to serve the Emperor, surrendered gladly. Captain Han So-young led the boarding party that captured Emperor Daijin himself. She found him on the bridge of his flagship, still refusing to believe he had been defeated. "This is impossible," he said when Han entered with her soldiers. "I have ruled for 3,000 years. I have conquered 1,000 worlds. I cannot be defeated by children." "You were not defeated by children," Han replied. "You were defeated by free people who chose to fight instead of surrender." Emperor Daijin looked around his bridge. His officers had already surrendered. His ship was powerless. His empire was falling apart. "What will you do with me?" he asked. "That is not my decision," Han said. "The free peoples of the galaxy will decide your fate." The battle was over. Of the 50 Devastator ships that had come to destroy Earth, 45 had been captured and 5 had been destroyed when their crews chose to fight to the death. The Galactic Hegemony's most powerful weapons now belonged to the Free Worlds Alliance. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. They had faced the Empire's strongest force and won. But Dr. Choi knew their work was just beginning. "General Kim," she said, "we have won the war, but now we must win the peace." "What do you mean?" "The hegemony controlled 800 worlds," Dr. Choi explained. "Billions of people who have been slaves for thousands of years. We must help them learn to be free. That will not be easy." "No," Dr. Choi agreed. "Fighting is easy compared to building. But that is what we must do now. We must build a galaxy where everyone can be free." Around the galaxy, the news of the Emperor's defeat spread like fire. On every enslaved world, people rose up against their hegemony masters. Some rebellions were peaceful, others were violent, but all of them had the same goal: freedom. The age of the Galactic Hegemony was over. The age of the Free Worlds Alliance was beginning. And it had all started when humanity refused to surrender to an empire that thought it was invincible. 6 months after the fall of Emperor Daijin, the galaxy was a very different place. On Earth, Dr. Choi stood in her laboratory looking at star maps that showed the progress of liberation. Green lights marked free worlds. Red lights showed places where fighting continued. Yellow lights indicated worlds asking for help. "How many today?" asked General Kim as he entered the room. 17 new worlds declared independence, Dr. Choi replied. But 12 are asking for military assistance to overthrow their local governors. "And the Emperor?" Dr. Choi pointed to a secure facility on Luna Base. "Still in prison. The Alliance Council cannot decide what to do with him. Some species want him executed, others want him put on trial, A few think he should be exiled. The Free Worlds Alliance had grown quickly after the battle at Earth. Representatives from hundreds of species met regularly to discuss how to govern the galaxy. It was not easy. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years now had to work together. Ambassador Lee Ji-hyun spent most of her time mediating disputes between alien governments. Today she was dealing with a conflict between the Dracos and the Zentarians over mining rights on a border world. "Your people took our mines, by force," accused Representative Colvin of the Dracos. "We demand they be returned." "We liberated those mines from hegemony control," replied Senator Hak-Soo of Zentara. "My people worked there as slaves for centuries." Lee sighed. These arguments happened every day. "Perhaps we can share the mining rights," she suggested. "Both. Your peoples suffered under the hegemony. Both deserve compensation." "Share?" Colvin looked confused. "Why would we share what is ours?" Lee realized that many species had never learned to compromise. Under the hegemony, disputes were settled by force. Teaching aliens to negotiate would take time. Meanwhile, General Kwon Dong-jun was dealing with military problems across the galaxy. Former hegemony officers were trying to set up their own small empires. Some species were attacking their former oppressors. Pirates were raiding undefended worlds. "Sir," reported Colonel Shin Jae-sung, "we have received distress calls from 37 worlds this week. They are being attacked by former hegemony forces." "How many ships can we send?" Kwon asked. "Not enough. We have 300 ships to protect 800 worlds. The mathematics do not work." Kwon looked at the tactical displays. The Alliance fleet was powerful but small. They needed local forces to help maintain order. "Start the training programs," he decided. "We will teach local militias to defend themselves. It is better to have many small fleets than one large one." Dr. Sun Eun-ji was already working on this problem. Her teams traveled to liberated worlds, teaching alien engineers how to build and maintain human-designed weapons. On the planet Kepler 442b, she worked with Hak-Soo and other former slaves to set up a defense factory. "Your quantum disruptors are very complex," Hak-Soo said, studying the plans. "My people are farmers, not engineers." "Then we will start simple," Dr. Sun replied. "Build basic EMP weapons first. Once you understand those, we can teach you more." "Advanced systems. Why are you helping us?" asked another Zentarian. "What do humans gain from this?" Dr. Sun thought about the question. "We gain allies," she said finally. "And we gain the knowledge that we did the right thing." Not everyone was happy with the new order. On some worlds, former slaves turned into oppressors themselves. The worst case was on Rigel 7, where the liberated population had captured their former masters and was treating them as badly as they had been treated. Captain Han So-young led a peacekeeping mission to Rigel 7th. She met with the revolutionary leader, an insectoid alien named Ziktar. "You must stop the executions," Han told him. "This is not justice. This is revenge." "Why should we show mercy?" Ziktar replied. "They showed us none for 2,000 years." "Because if you become like them, then they have won," Han said. "Freedom means being better than your oppressors, not becoming them." Easy words from someone who was never a slave. Han was quiet for a moment. "You are right. I was never a slave, but I have seen what hatred does to people. It destroys them from the inside. Do not let them destroy you even after they have lost." It took weeks of negotiation, but finally, Ziktar agreed to establish fair trials instead of mass executions. It was a small victory, but important. The biggest challenge was economic. The hegemony had controlled all trade in the galaxy for thousands of years. When it fell, the economic system collapsed. Worlds that had specialized in single industries suddenly had no markets for their products. Commander Oh Sang-wook was put in charge of establishing new trade routes. He worked with alien economists to create a system that would benefit everyone. "The problem," explained Dr. Yoon Da-eun, "is that every species wants to trade with Earth. We have the most advanced technology and the strongest economy, but we cannot trade with 800 worlds at once." "Then we need to help other worlds develop their own strong economies," Oh replied. "Teach them to trade with each other, not just with us." This was harder than fighting the hegemony had been. Creating new economic systems required patience and cooperation from species that had never trusted each other. On Earth, public opinion was divided about the Alliance's role in galactic affairs. Some people wanted to focus on Earth's problems and let the aliens solve their own issues. Others believed humans had a responsibility to help build a better galaxy. President Lee Tae-min addressed the World Council about this debate. "We started this war to defend our freedom," he said. "We won it by fighting alongside others who wanted freedom too. We cannot abandon our allies now just because the fighting is over. But we are spending huge amounts of money helping other worlds," argued Senator Park Min-ho. "What about our own people? What about Earth's needs?" "Earth is part of the galaxy now," Lee replied. "If we help create a peaceful, prosperous galaxy, Earth benefits too. If we let the galaxy fall into chaos, that chaos will eventually reach us." Dr. Choi agreed with the president. She had spent her life preparing for war with aliens. Now she wanted to spend the rest of her life building peace with them. She was working on her greatest project yet, the Galactic University. This would be a place where beings from all species could come to learn and share knowledge. "Imagine," she told her team, "what we could accomplish if every species contributed their best ideas. Humans are good at adapting technology. Dracos understand energy systems better than anyone. Zentarians are master engineers. Together we could solve problems that no single species could handle alone." The first students arrived at the Galactic University 1 year after the war ended. They came from 40 different worlds and looked like creatures from a dozen science fiction movies. But they all had one thing in common: curiosity. Professor Nam Ki-tae taught a class on quantum physics to students with tentacles, scales, and crystalline bodies. At first, communication was difficult, but gradually, the students learned to work together. "Your mathematics are different from ours," said a student who looked like a walking tree. "But when we combine them, we get answers neither of us could find alone." "That is the point," Nam replied. "Diversity makes us stronger." As the second year after liberation began, the Free Worlds Alliance faced new challenges. Some species wanted to form their own smaller alliances. Others proposed creating a new empire with humans as the rulers. A few suggested that each world should be completely independent. At the Alliance Council meeting on Proxima Centauri, representatives debated these options for weeks. Ambassador Lee tried to find solutions that would satisfy everyone. "We cannot force species to remain in the Alliance," she said. "Freedom means the right to choose your own path, but we should encourage cooperation whenever possible." "What if some species choose to become aggressive again?" asked Captain Veltar of the Andromedans. "What if they try to conquer their neighbors?" "Then we defend the victims," replied Admiral Ryu. "But we try to solve problems peacefully first. War should be the last option, not the first." The debate continued for months. Finally, they reached a compromise. The alliance would remain voluntary. Species could join or leave as they chose. But members would agree to follow certain basic principles: no slavery, no conquest of other worlds, and peaceful resolution of disputes. 5 years after the war, Dr. Choi returned to her old laboratory on Earth. It was smaller now than the command centers she worked in during the war, but it felt more like home. She looked at the latest reports from across the galaxy. 300 worlds had joined the Alliance. 200 more had formed regional cooperatives. Only a handful remained isolated or hostile. Trade was flowing between species that had never communicated before the war. Scientific discoveries were being shared freely. Crime rates were dropping as former soldiers found peaceful work. It was not perfect. There were still conflicts, still problems to solve. Some worlds struggled with poverty. Others dealt with environmental damage from centuries of exploitation. A few species still distrusted all outsiders. But it was better. Much better than the galaxy had been under the hegemony. General Kim visited her that day. He was older now, his hair gray from the stress of building peace. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "Do you ever wish we had just surrendered to the hegemony?" Dr. Choi looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere up there, former slaves were learning to read. Former enemies were work.